I was sleeping in my Honda Civic in the Walmart parking lot on Route 9 when the cop knocked on my window at 2 a.m. Third time that week. My two kids were crashed out in the back seat, my daughter clutching her stuffed rabbit, my son using his backpack as a pillow. The officer shined his flashlight in, saw the kids, and his face changed. He told me I couldn't stay there. I asked him where else I was supposed to go. He didn't have an answer, just said I had to move along. That was November 2019. I was 34 years old with two kids, and everything we owned fit in a 15-year-old sedan with a busted heater. I'd been evicted 6 weeks earlier. Lost my apartment after I got laid off from the warehouse job I'd had for 8 years. They downsized the whole department. I got 2 weeks severance and a handshake. My rent was $1,400 a month, and I had about $300 in my account. I tried to explain to my landlord, asked for time, but he'd heard it all before. The eviction notice came 30 days later. My ex-wife had been out of the picture for 3 years. She'd left when the kids were little, moved to Arizona with some guy she met online, sent maybe 2 birthday cards total since then. So it was just me and them. And I'd failed them completely. I couldn't afford a hotel. Even the cheapest ones were $60 a night, and that money had to go to food. We ate $3 crackers and peanut butter for dinner most nights. The kids asked when we could go home. I told them we were on an adventure. They were 8 and 6. They believed me at first. We showered at the Planet Fitness on 8th Street. I'd signed up for the $10 membership just to have access to bathrooms and water. We'd go in at 6 a.m. before school, wash up in the locker rooms, try to look normal. Then I'd drop them at school and spend the day filling out job applications on my phone in parking lots, running the car for heat when I could afford the gas. I applied to 247 jobs in 2 months. I kept count in my notes app. McDonald's, Target, Amazon warehouse, security guard positions, janitor jobs, anything. Got maybe 15 callbacks. Went to 8 interviews. Nobody wanted to hire a guy with no permanent address. They could smell the desperation on me. The kids' teachers started noticing things. My daughter's grades dropped. My son got in fights. The school counselor called me in, and I had to tell her we were between places. She gave me a list of shelters and food banks. I thanked her and threw the paper away in the parking lot. I couldn't take my kids to a shelter. I just couldn't. December hit and the temperature dropped to 20 degrees at night. I'd run the car for 20 minutes every few hours to keep us from freezing. My gas gauge was always on empty. I was burning through my last $200 on gas and food, watching it disappear $5 at a time. On 18th December, I broke down. Just completely fell apart. The kids were at school and I was sitting in that car in the Walmart parking lot and I couldn't stop crying. I'd been holding it together for 2 months, being strong, telling myself I'd figure it out. But I couldn't see a way forward anymore. We were going to freeze or starve or both. I'd ruined my children's lives. I called my sister in Ohio. We hadn't spoken in 4 years. We'd had some stupid fight at a family funeral and both been too proud to apologize. I didn't even know if she'd answer. She picked up on the 3rd ring. I told her everything. The eviction, the car, the kids, all of it. I was sobbing so hard I could barely get the words out. I expected her to lecture me or hang up. Instead she just said, "Pack up. You're coming here." We drove to Ohio that night. 8 hours with 2 confused kids asking where we were going. My sister lived in a small town outside Cleveland, had a 3-bedroom house she'd bought 5 years earlier. She set us up in her spare bedroom. Both kids on an air mattress, me on the floor. It was the first time we'd slept indoors in 7 weeks. I thought I'd stay 2 weeks tops, get on my feet, find something. My sister said take the time I needed. Her husband wasn't thrilled about it, I could tell, but he didn't say anything. They had their own kids, their own bills. I was a burden and I knew it. I got a job at a local warehouse within a week. Overnight shift, $14 an hour, loading trucks. It was hard work, but I didn't care. I had a paycheck coming. My sister watched my kids at night while I worked. I'd sleep during the day while they were at school, then spend the evenings with them before heading to work at 10 p.m. After 3 months, I'd saved $2,800. I found an apartment, tiny 2-bedroom in a rough part of town, $650 a month. It was perfect. We moved in on a Saturday. The kids each got their own bed for the first time in their lives. My daughter cried when she saw her room. My son just kept running in circles yelling, "We have a house. We have a house." I worked that overnight shift for 18 months. Kept saving every dollar I could. My sister helped with childcare. I picked up weekend shifts. I stopped buying anything that wasn't absolutely necessary. My whole world was work, kids, sleep, repeat. In 2021, the warehouse offered me a supervisor position. Day shift, $19 an hour. I took it immediately. Having normal hours meant I could actually be present for my kids. Make them breakfast, help with homework, show up at school events. Basic parent stuff I'd never been able to do consistently. I started taking free courses online. Supply chain management, logistics, inventory systems. YouTube became my classroom. I'd watch tutorials at midnight after the kids went to bed. I figured if I was going to work in warehouse, I should actually understand the business. By 2022, I'd saved $18,000. I met with a bank about a mortgage. They laughed at me. My credit score was 510. I had an eviction on my record. I was a single dad making $40,000 a year. No bank would touch me. I found a program through a local nonprofit. They helped people with bad credit buy houses. You had to take financial literacy classes, save a certain amount, prove stable employment. It took me another year to qualify. More classes, more saving, more proving myself to people who saw me as a risk. In June 2023, I closed on a house. A real house. 3 bedrooms, small yard, nothing fancy. It was in a working-class neighborhood where half the houses needed paint and everyone's cars were at least 10 years old. It cost $89,000. My mortgage payment was $720 a month. The day we moved in, my daughter was 13 and my son was 11. They'd spent 4 years in that tiny apartment, and before that, 2 months in a car. My daughter walked into her new bedroom and just stood there staring at the walls. She finally said, "This is really ours. Like, no one can make us leave." I told her, "Yeah, it's really ours." That was 18 months ago. I'm not rich. I drive the same Honda, though I finally got the heater fixed. I still work at the warehouse, though I'm operations manager now making $52,000. My kids are doing okay. My daughter's in high school, gets decent grades, has friends. My son plays basketball at the rec center. The house needs work. The roof leaks when it rains hard. The water heater is ancient. The kitchen cabinets are falling apart. I fix things one at a time as I can afford it. Last month I replaced the toilet. Next month maybe I'll tackle the leaky faucet. My credit score is 680 now. I've got $4,000 in savings. Not a lot, but it's a cushion. If my car breaks down or the kids need something, I don't panic anymore. I can handle it. I still think about those nights in that car. The cold, the fear, My daughter's face when she asked when we could go home, and I had to lie to her. I think about the officer who knocked on my window and told me to move along. Where was I supposed to go? I never got an answer to that question. I just had to find one myself. Sometimes I drive past that Walmart on Route 9, that parking lot where we slept. I don't stop, but I look at it and remember what it felt like to have absolutely nothing. To be at the very bottom with 2 kids depending on me and no idea how to climb back up. I'm not special. I didn't have some breakthrough moment or discover a secret. I just kept going. Got up every day and did the next thing. Then the next thing. Then the next. For 4 years. That's it. No magic formula. Just showing up when I wanted to quit, which was most days. My sister and I talk every week now. She drove down last month to see the house. She walked through every room and cried. She said she never told me this, but the night I called her from that parking lot, her husband didn't want her to take us in. They'd fought about it. She told him we were coming anyway. Her marriage was rocky for a while after that. They're okay now, but it cost her something to help me. I'll never forget that. The house still doesn't feel completely real sometimes. I'll wake up at 3 a.m. and walk around just to remind myself it exists. That we're not in a car. Not crashing on someone's couch. Not getting evicted. This is ours. The bank can't take it as long as I make the payments, and I make the payments. Every single month. I've never been late once. I'm not where I want to be. I'd like to make more money. Fix up the house properly. Take my kids on vacation somewhere, though we've never done that. But I'm so far from where I was that it almost doesn't seem real that both versions of me exist. The kids don't talk about living in the car much anymore. My daughter mentioned it once last year, said she doesn't remember a lot of it. I hope that's true. I hope that memory fades for them completely. For me, it never will. And maybe that's okay. Maybe I need to remember so I never end up back there. I own a house. 3 bedrooms, leaky roof, broken cabinets, all of it. It's mine. That sentence still hits me sometimes. After everything, after the eviction, and the car, and the shame, and the fear, I fought my way back to having a place where my kids can close a door to their own room and know their home. That's my success story. Not rags to riches, just rags to stability. And honestly, that's everything.